Hi, I'm Beth Rowley with Atlas Design. I'm a design salesperson with the company. My role here is to meet with the clients after they have made that initial call into the company. The call comes in and me at the front desk takes the call, gets general information from the client about what they're looking for, where they live. Then she passes those leads on to the different designers. The different designers then call the customer back and discuss in a lot more detail what it is they're looking for, whether it's hardscape, softscape, if there's specific issues, whether there's a pool that's going to be installed, so that we know exactly what we're getting into when we start the process. Once we've talked about the general process with them on the phone, what their wants and desires are, then we schedule a time to meet with them at their home. We meet with them at the home, we walk the site, any areas that are of concern, get a feel for their lifestyle. Do they have little kids? Do they have pets? Do they primarily want a space for entertaining large groups of friends or small groups of family? Is there a pool going to be involved? We talk about safety issues of a pool, practicality issues of a pool, options that you can have with a pool. Whether it be a diving board, a tanning shelf, different stair setups, so that we can customize it to whatever their needs are, so they're using it to the full advantage once the pool is installed. After we've met with them, we've talked about all that criteria. As a designer, it's important to come up with a plan that is going to fit that person's lifestyle, their wants and wishes, because if you don't, they're going to go somewhere else. We gather that information, we measure on the site, we take elevation measurements, photographs, things like that, all the information we may need to create a proper design once we get back to the office. Once we're back in the office, then we spend time coming up with a design. Not every job needs a design. It's something that you may be able to sketch real quick or just describe on site and then come up with an estimate. Sometimes it's a full design of the property, especially if it's a new construction. Maybe just a backyard, maybe just a front yard. Whatever it is that the homeowner wants, you kind of decide at that point what is needed to accomplish the goal. If we get into the design process, we do it 3D. We do it all computerized so that we get the plan view, but because most people can't read or understand or visualize from a plan what their home is going to look like upon completion, we also can transfer it into a 3D view. We even can set it up so it looks like you've walked through the site once we've designed it. Gives a customer a very large sense of, yes, this is what I want, I'm comfortable with it, or I love all of it, but maybe this corner of the yard is not my favorite. What can we do to change it? So once that design is developed, we estimate it out so the client will know exactly to the penny what they're looking at to install that design as done. We then present that to the client with the estimate. We go over it all, we make changes as necessary, get that final number to them. Once they sign on the bottom line, then we order materials. We order way in advance so it's not going to cause a problem when it comes time to install that job. What we want to do is get everything lined up so that when it comes time to install that job, the crew has their paperwork that they need that we've created with a list of everything they're going to need. They can show up on site with materials, or materials are set to be delivered to the site so that it's as seamless as it possibly can be. We don't want them having to run off and get materials and stop work on a site. It just delays things. The more we can have that set up or lined up to be delivered as they need it, the more efficient the job gets installed. As a designer salesperson, you're creating that paperwork for the crew to use during that installation phase. Then you're also meeting the crew on site during that process. Depending on how involved it is, you might be there every day, you might be there every couple days. Thank you to technology, we can FaceTime when there's quick questions. We just try to stay in contact as much as possible between client, the crew members, and the installers, as well as Kyle, the manager, so that everybody's on the same page. We're all in an open communication string so that we know what's going on site. The job is then finished up. We walk through it with the client to make sure they're happy. They may do that daily with the foreman during construction as well. Once it's done, you should be out there pretty fast to go over it with the client, explain care instructions of plants or pavers or pool operation or any of that. It's a great moment when you're basically turning over the keys to that job and the client is grinning from ear to ear and they're already planning their picnic and their family get-together so they can celebrate their new backyard. The smiles and the hugs are the big reward at the end of the job. And that's kind of the goal on any job that you start out with, from that first phone call to that final sweeping off of the sidewalk.